Matters. Wake up, wake up. Your thinking really matters. There's a woman called the Mother who wrote a book called, she's written many books, but in one of her books she has this quote: everything always depends on the way in which things are done. Not so much what one does, but the spirit with which one does it. Let me just repeat that. Everything always depends on the way in which things are done. Not so much what one does, but the spirit with which one does it. Isn't that true? And what do you call those things in a kitchen with gas? Stove, thank you, stove, menopause, sucks it out. Anyway, so with a gas stove, you know there's a pilot light. And if you turn a switch one way, the pilot light ignites into flame. And if you turn it the other way, it just dies. Well, every single person you meet has got a pilot light inside their hearts. Everyone. Every single person that works for you or that comes into your store or that you interact with or is in your family. Everyone has a pilot light inside their hearts. And every one of us, every nanosecond of every day, has a choice. We can either ignite someone's spirit or we can look at them and do this. And I call these people spirit fuffers, okay? So on the count of three, because we're a bit rushed this morning, we haven't got a whole lot of time. So on the count of three, you're going to turn to your joy buddy on one side then the other. After you have determined where you will sit on the bell curve, will you be in the extraordinarily successful, lovely to be around, popular, exciting, and I'd like to buy a $3 million piece from you section? Or will you be in the, ew, I'm out of here section? So, on the count of three, you're going to turn to your joy buddy, and with as much energy as you can muster, you are going to do exactly what I do now, including the facial gestures, right? And fellas, this is going to help you connect with women. Now, am I right in saying that there's an awful lot of women that come into your stores? So you would want to be able to communicate with women. Well, you see, fellas, when women communicate, we move our voices, our faces, our hands, everything goes. And women love this. We can connect. I can think when I'm doing this. This is driving the men nuts. Because this is the way men communicate. Men keep their bodies very, very still. They keep their faces flat. They keep their voices flat. It's very hard for me to do this. In fact, around about now, I just can't think anymore. But if you look around the room, you will see that for the very first time, almost every single man has suddenly gone, because now I'm saying something intelligent, I'm speaking like a man. But, I can't do it for long. Then I slip back into female speak, and the guys go, oh, look, a blonde. No, guys, it's not a blonde, it's just the way women communicate. So, if you practice this, it will help you with the connection in your stores too. So, on the count of three, you're going to turn to your joy buddy and say, I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. Oh, look at the... Oh, look, half of you are going, gee, this is good. Well, it will be. And before we do this, because I haven't counted to three, if you're sitting next to someone who looks at you and does this, or worse, if they're on their phones, help them. Help them. Because no one wakes up in the morning and goes, how can I foof someone's spirit today? How can I go around and just be a spirit foofer? No one does that on purpose. They're completely unconscious to doing it. So, if you're sitting next to someone like that, all you have to do is look at them and go, and it becomes a common language after this. If there's somebody putting a dampener on everybody's spirit, all you've got to do is yell out, foofer alert, and that will help everything cheer up. There is purpose to this. I'll come back to it. So, ready? On the count of three, I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. And make sure you look like this too. 1, 2, 3, go. I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. Oh, nice. Nice work. Nice. And now, quick, come back because we haven't got much time. Come back. I want you to give the person on either side of you, your joy buddy, a high five. But wait, before you do the high five, do not do a normal high five because that will age you, okay? If you want to be like groovy, or whatever, wicked, or whatever the word is today, and do a high five, you have to do a high five or a bump and follow it with, and the has to be as creative as you can. This is a very creative group, and it's very hard to spell this, but we are going to be talking a lot about F words today. So ready? Give them a high five, and then 1, 2, 3, go. High five. Nice. Some of you obviously have paralyzed arms because you're not joining in. Okay, great. Come on back, come on back. Very nice, sir. That's excellent. And so the other core thing that apart from thinking, everything in life is about your thinking. In fact, if you're sitting here and you're not joining in, it's because you're sitting there thinking, A, I'm hungover, I can't do this. B, this is ridiculous, I'm a mature adult, I'm not going to do stupid things like this. Ew, foofa, foofa. C, it's you're worried about what other people think. See, 9 out of 10 times, we don't do what we really want to do because of one of the core fears in life, and that is FOWOT. Now, what do you think FOWOT is? Fear of what others think. And look, I hate to burst your bubble, but honestly, no one else is ever thinking about you, ever. Honestly, ever. They're never thinking about you because they are so obsessed with what you are thinking about them, they don't have time to think about you. Do you get that? So you might as well throw yourselves into this because if somebody is sitting next to a high-energy spirit igniter, they walk out with a whole lot more joy. And then let me take that thinking to a slightly different place, which is where it really affects you. How many of you are still excited about what you do every day? Oh, promise? Really? Because I've talked to a few, and you know, there are some who are way up here, they love what they're doing, and there are others who are, yeah, it's all right. You know, we get there. There's just like not a lot of vibrant enthusiasm in there. And who you are determines the atmosphere in the store. How many of you have heard of a guy called Bruce Lipton who wrote a book called The Biology of Belief? No one? Oh, you have one. That's only one out of this group. Guys, do yourselves a favor. Either go on YouTube and type in Bruce Lipton, as in teabag, The Biology of Belief, and watch it, or buy the book, because it will change your life. Your genes do not determine your future. Bruce Lipton is a cellular biologist who is a pioneer in the field of epigenetics, which means going beyond the genes. Your genes will not determine your future. Do you know what determines your future? It is your B-I-E-F-S. What is it? Your beliefs. It is your beliefs. Now, your beliefs, by the way, determine where you are on the bell curve. If you believe things are going to be good and you're optimistic and you're positive, you're going to be in this category because you'll make the best of most things. If you, on the other hand, go, the economy's down, it's all going to tank, the elections are on, we're all going to die, you will be in this section. And, you know, particularly if you like Donald Trump. So I'm not, just kidding. So the other thing is that your beliefs, like as an Aussie, because I used to live here, but I now live in Australia. And it's a fascinating project watching your elections. Anyway, enough said. So beliefs, the repeated thoughts you have become beliefs. And those beliefs become the story you tell yourself. And it is a fairy story. It's another F word. It's not the truth. It's based on the core beliefs that you have. But those beliefs weren't yours. They're usually embedded from others. So if we marry that with the fact that the single most important thing in life, the most important thing in life, above everything else, is how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself. Because if you feel good about yourself, what does that let you do? It lets you focus on helping others feel good about themselves. You're not obsessed with yourself and how people, FOWOT. You're not consumed by FOWOT. You can be concerned with others. And as one of the earlier speakers we had said, people don't care how much you know. They don't give a rat's about how much you know. What they really want to do, or know, is how much you care about them. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I don't know who originally said that, but I've been quoting it forever. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Isn't that true? Are you inspired by someone who comes in and says, we're going to slash and burn everything, but we got great figures? Seriously, our targets are excellent. Our figures are fantastic. No! Think about the best boss you ever had. The best boss you ever had isn't someone who said to you, well, we're cutting the salary and we're making it commission basis, and here are your targets. We've set them high because we know you can do it. No. The best bosses you ever had were the ones who you knew cared about you. You believed they had your best interests at heart. Isn't that true? So reflect while we're doing the rest of this very fast session on how you are perceived by others, because perception is everything. And there are 3 core fears that underpin how people feel about themselves. And there are 3 aspects of leadership that make someone a great leader. And the first part of a leader's job is to change people's behaviour. All of you know that a leader's job is to change people's behaviour, but we can do it in a heartbeat if we tell people a story that touches their heart. That's why with Rio Tinto, it's the stories that are connecting with people's emotions. You guys are all about emotions. In fact, to me, you're in the business of joy, aren't you? Why did only 7 people say yes? It's like the rest of you sitting there going, yeah, maybe. Of course you're in the business of joy. And if you create a joyful environment for your staff, and if your staff stop seeing themselves as salespeople, now I'm having to jam a lot of information into this session, so I'm going very fast, okay? So there's lots of big things that I'm just glossing over. Now, stop having salespeople. If you're a salesperson, in terms of perception, how does it work? I am the salesperson. You are the customer. I sell to you, and you buy from me. And there's a counter between us. Now, that separates people. You don't want to do that. I want you to eliminate the word salesperson. And from now on, you are going to have partners in the store. So that when someone walks in, you're not across from them, even though they're looking at stuff. You go around and you be beside them so that together you are partners working on either the same problem or the same exciting moment coming up in your life. Even if it is your 35th anniversary and you've got to buy something. You can make someone excited about that. You can ask them questions. You can ask them for the best moment that they remember in those 35 years. And do you realise that when you get somebody to think about the memory associated with something that was happy, it makes them feel better about themselves, and most importantly, it makes them feel connected to you. Does that make sense? Go like this. Yes, it does. And now look at your joy buddy and say, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. Go. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that. And come on back, come on back. And if as I'm talking, you're thinking, well, that's all right for so-and-so, but it doesn't work for us, stop it. Stop it. Just stop. Everybody, look at your joy buddies and go, stop it. Stop it. Go, quick. Stop it. Stop it. Because that sort of thinking is the thinking that stops you changing and getting to the top of the bell curve. See, we get stuck in our thinking. So the first part of a leader's job, change people's behaviour. The second part of a leader's job is to help people believe in themselves. Because belief in your own ability is a better predictor of success than any level of skill. So what do you do on a daily basis with your team, your staff, to help them feel good about themselves? To help them believe in their ability? Because that should be your core focus. And then watch the energy in your room, in your stores change. And then the third part of a leadership job, so first, change people's behaviour. Second, help people believe in themselves. And the third is to create an environment in which people can be the best they can be. See, if we go back